What's up, my LS Crazy Amigos? It's your boy Terry speaking from the garage shop once again. Here to offer you some more big bang for the buck and a restoration tips. Yeah, first of all, I want to say thank you very much for all the love and questions that you guys been asking me, and I hope I answer them right, and I hope I can help you guys when you do your LS install or either restoration car. I hope you take some tips, and I hope they work out for you. I really do. But a lot of people want to know what's going on with 67 Chevelle. As you can see, I got the quarter panel hung, but it's sheet screwed in. I'm not going to hang it. I'm not going to weld it in place just yet because I'm waiting to do the other side, which is going to move a little bit quicker and set the trunk on. So that way we can get the nice clean gaps that we want, because as we all know, these cars, GM never had the really close, really cool gaps, get nice gaps that that we like to see when we go to car shows and see the cars with gaps. Because what happened was, when we weld everything together, before we weld, there's a chance where you can move the quarter panels in a little bit. You have a little bit of flexibility with the trunk, the quarter panels, and you want to make sure that those gaps are crisp. But what we're going to talk about first is we're going to talk about rocker panels, okay? Because my car needed rocker panels, but one side, the driver's side, was a lot worse than the passenger side. But let me show you what we've been doing. Now remember, when you're restoring one of these old school cars, you're gonna find surprises. And I found a lot of surprises with this car. All right, and it got to the point where I was gonna replace the whole entire rocker panel. But then I thought to myself, if I was doing the whole floorboard and everything like that, I probably would have went that route. But I thought if I replace just take this whole rocker panel out, that's gonna be a lot of measuring for me to do. Whereas I examined, and this particular rocker side, about 40% of it was pretty good. So instead of replacing this whole rocker panel and then having to measure it and everything like that, all I did was I got my straight edge, especially for this rear end right here. This rear end right here had a big hole, and it was holed out this big. So what I did was I found where the strong metal was, and you get straight edge, and you use what you have here as a guideline. As far as you take this straight edge, right? Hold it like this, and you make sure that there's no gap in between, and you can weld it right in place. And then you're done with this. This was an easy repair. And you do the same with the top. Now remember, the quarter panel wasn't on, so you can do the same with the top. But even now the quarter panel's on, so I can't show you. But make sure that it's straight that way and there's no space between. I mean, you get it as perfect as you can, because like I said, these cars never came out of GM that perfect. So I used this strong piece of the rocker so I can measure out, cut, and you can see I got it welded in. Now, the front of the rocker was a different story. Now this is the front of the rocker that I was doing, okay? Now what happened was, again, when you buy these old school cars, you gotta know that you're gonna spend some time trying to fix, and unless you buy one that's perfect and you're gonna spend like $56,000 on a car, but if you don't wanna do it and you wanna put the time and money into it, this is what you're gonna have to do. This rocker was totally eaten up. I went on eBay, I went on Craigslist, and I found a guy who was parting out a 67 Chevelle, and he was good enough to cut out part of the cowl so I can have this piece, because there was nothing under here to bolt my fender, the bottom of the fender to. So all this was rotted out and everything. So what I did was I popped all the spot welds out of the piece that I got, the piece that the guy sent me. And he sent me the other piece too, the other side, for like 25 bucks, which was really good. And I just welded. I had to pretty much remake this whole part of the car. And then I was able to finish my weld in here with the front of the rocker. And again, I used the straight edge. I used that 40%. So I can, get a straight, perfect gap between the top of the rocker and the door. And that brings me to another thing. I must have took the fenders and the door off, I would say about 40 times a piece. So it's going to take some time for you to do. And that's just how I had to handle this piece of my rocker and the back piece. And right now it's pretty much ready for some a little bit more grinding, and I'm good to go on this piece, and I can put the door on and make sure everything's straight. Now on the other side, this is what was in my rocker. This is a small piece of the rocker on the passenger side that I cut out and I replaced. See, look at this. See, this is what I'm talking about. Look at this. This is all Bondo. Look at this. And people call this quality work. Unbelievable. I knew I was going to deal with this when I purchased the car, that I was going to find some surprises, and I'm not really surprised. But being I didn't use the whole rocker from the other side, and I only used about maybe, I would say 60%, I was able to take a small piece and cut this out. As you can see, this is what this was. You see? And I welded this in. I didn't finish welding it in. I still got to do a little bit more welding and some grinding. And like I said, this rocker isn't that bad at all. And what I was able to do here was fill some of the holes. There was little pinholes. You know, see how you got holes like that? You don't even try to fill those. I'm just gonna cut from here. Let's see, from this point, let's say from this point to about the end of the rocker. And now this was the piece that was remaining from the other side. I cut along top here, because if I went this way, you know, this has like little indentations like you can see right there, where it wouldn't have matched up. So what I did was I just cut it here down, and then I just went along this line right here, went along the top, like right here, and it worked out pretty well because it's the same shape. I just turned it around and cut the top off, and then I just, you know, made it fit. Now remember, this again, thanks to the guy from Craigslist, from this point on down was missing. As you can see, I put the fender on so we can figure out and see how much of a gap we have, and it's looking pretty good. I might just have to bring it back. I might just have to bring this back a little because I got the relief cut, so all I got to do is trim back here just a little bit so I can move this whole piece back, and we'll be good to go. Now see, this is what I did that was pretty slick, I think. Okay, now you remember the piece that I got, the original cowl? I took the front piece I removed the front piece off because this has like a little shape to it. I don't know if you can see it. This has a little shape that contours to the bottom of the fender. So instead of trying to recreate one, I just took like maybe an inch of it off, cut it like that, and I tack welded it in place. And so it fits perfect. Wow. So there you have it. That's my rocker story, and I'm sticking to it. Oh man, I tell you, I'm having fun with this car, but again, I can't stress it enough. If you're going to go and build one of these cars, check and make sure you know what you're getting into, and be honest with yourself. If you can't do the work and you feel that you're going to farm out the work, because I'm telling you right now, a lot of this body work is tedious because there's a lot of measurements, and the measurements turn into money as far as like when you go in with hours, counting hours and all that. So be honest with yourself, because don't be afraid to pass up a car because another one will come along. So you want to definitely make sure that you know what you're doing, you know, as far as know what you're getting into, okay? And that's why I bought this car for so long, because I wanted to do a project where I knew what was up, and I got the car for pretty much, you know, what I thought it was worth. All right. So I just want to say once again, listen, I want to tell you how much I appreciate all the love and attention that you guys been giving me for asking the question. Please keep them coming, because I really enjoy it, and I try to get back to you as soon as I can. But you know, busy with projects and stuff like that. But I will answer you, and if you have a question that you want to know the answer to, just give me a shout. Even if you want a personal question answered, you know how to reach me. You know, just email me. But it's about that time, looking at the clock on the wall, or should I say ceiling, for me to head on out, and I want to finish doing some welding on this car so I can finish up and, you know, get the other quarter panel on, because I'm you know how when you really want to start moving, you're charged, and that's how I'm feeling today. So until the next time we meet, please always be easy, and I will catch you guys a little later. Take care. Thank you again.